Elohim. Okay. Take it from, okay.
No idea.
Let's bring this meeting to order, please. Roll call.
Emilio Gonzalez, D3 manager.
John Boyd, treasurer.
Larry Bennett, engineer.
John Famero, attorney.
Louis Valpo, president, Connor for.
Denise Mello, supervisor. Denise Mello, supervisor.
Benny Alvarez, supervisor.
Juan Mata, supervisor.
Stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance.
United States of America.
I think we've already introduced some board members. Approval of the meetings of the agenda. The meeting agenda.
There are mistakes in the minutes, and I would like to correct them.
Yes, Spanish you can read. No, like you.
On the second page, paragraph 2, sentence number 1, 2, 3, fourth sentence. Okay, in the third line it says Supervisor Naranjo then motioned for Supervisor Alvarez to be the new chair, and Supervisor Napoles second. Those in favor, all ayes. Did you get to see that tape again?
Yeah, it went back and forth, and then he, Mata says, I didn't wanna be, and then he says, then you turned around and you said, ayes. You said he agreed, and then he agreed,
Uh-huh.
so that means that everybody was in favor,
And I said nay,
for yourself.
for myself.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
For myself. Okay?
Mhm.
Next correction. At the bottom of the page to the left, it begins with annual. Annual performances, evaluation. Used to say that each supervisor would do a written evaluation, but it is not required anymore. Was that voted on?
It's, so, I just know, I don't have the minutes, but just by memory, so I was summarizing the changes I made in the district manager contract. One of the changes was that a written evaluation by all the supervisors was not required. You could do it, it's not required, and the reason is that I've never seen it done. They didn't do it last year.
It's the first time in Cookie's contract that it said a written one.
Oh, at Cookies it did.
Right, I mean, is it the first time you've ever seen it?
Oh, no, I mean, you can have a written evaluation.
Contradict yourself.
Truthfully, it's kind of a pain in the behind to, you have to create the evaluation. And the whole idea is to put in comments,
Right.
so this, you can still do that. I took it out of the.
In the future,
because-
I saw the entire film today. In the future, you said that we have the choice in the future. That we, the supervisors, have that choice in the future if we want to keep it or not.
Correct.
That for now, for his contract, you have written it down. So my question over here was, we had not discussed that at all.
It was I summarized the contract, you voted on the contract. I
Mhm.
said, here's what's in the contract, A, B, C, D, and then you voted on the contract. You didn't vote on each change, you just voted on the contract.
Okay.
But, so that's clear, any board member can write in a written evaluation when we do that. It's just not mandatory.
Okay.
Because last year, there was no written evaluation, and so I didn't think this was something that should be mandatory, but instead should be discretionary. If a board member feels like writing up their comments, they can, and if they don't feel like writing, I don't want it to mess up someone could say, well, he or she didn't have a proper performance evaluation, because not all 5 board members wrote something up.
Right, right. We did have it for Kelly, the evaluation to for pre-hiring.
Right, but for Kelly and for Cookie,
Yes,
there was nobody ever did a
Right.
written evaluation of them, and I don't want a manager to say, oh, you can't fire me, or you can't do this because you didn't do a written
right,
evaluation.
okay.
Believe me, this is in your favor, not in, it just gives you more
I know,
leverage.
the only reason why I ask is because by this point, we haven't even discussed it yet. You did discuss it towards the end of your speech about the contract and all that. But this is the second page of the minutes. The next sentence says, Chair asked if this needed to be voted on. And he did answer. You have to my suggestion to you is that you make sure that whenever a lawyer or supervisor or anybody answers you, yes or no, or maybe, or whatever they answer, write that answer, because this is a legal document. And he does say yes to that answer. So you should have written down, Mr. Fumero said yes.
And what I'll do in the future, Becky, if you send me the minutes, I'll review them myself.
Okay.
Because I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen this, so.
Okay, there's some spelling. The next page. The third line down, the word should be accept, A-C-C-E-P-T-S, not accept. That's excluding. Okay. You wrote a sentence almost at the middle of the page, and it starts with Fumero stated that taking away the absentee votes and changes the outcome. They went back and forth about the process and election process. That doesn't make sense to me. Do you know what you're talking about there? You reworded.
That's,
It's over here, page 3.
yeah, that's where he, if we take out the absentee ballots, it would change the outcome of the election. That's what it stated. That's what he stated on the video.
I think she meant if they weren't counted.
If they were or they weren't, it would change the outcome of the
Right.
whole election.
You have to be explicit in that. The sentence wasn't clear.
Okay.
And I always think of somebody else reading this besides me. I was here, so I more or less know what you're doing. Okay, the last page. D, District Attorney Report. The sentence before last. Mata asked if RFP for next meeting will be given to the supervisors before the next meeting, so they can go over it in the next meeting. And then your road specs should go to the engineer directly. You didn't answer that question. The question was, Mata asked if the RFP for the next meeting, right, will be given to the supervisors before, you should have answered that. Yes or no, whatever, Mr. Fumero answered. Do you understand? And the answer, I think, was yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and clubhouse manager report, Halloween. Okay. That's it.
Okay, shall we adopt the?
As amended.
Yeah, as amended. Okay, so, move on to the public comments. Do you have anything?
Alright. Alright. My name is Chris Self, 266 Avondale Club. The papers I'm giving you have a couple questions about it. These are the absentees that was turned in. And as you can see, the name on them is D Coco, which is kind of a nickname. And the name does not match. If you go all the way to the back, you see the name is Rodas. It's a strange name.
So when you have highlighted,
Yes.
okay,
Now, if you look at the address there, it's 1325 West 68th Street, apartment 517B.
okay.
Now, if you look on the first paper, on the back, sorry, on the second paper, the absentee ballot, it says Coco, and then it says 6890 Wilson, Hialeah, Florida. That address doesn't even match. So the issue that I have with this is that the name doesn't match and the address doesn't match. And these papers, I talked to the CPA, Bob Hendricks, and I asked him about this. And he said that in a general election, this will not be accepted, just because how incomplete it is, and the names are nowhere near close to what it is. And I guess, Mr. Pomero, you know more about this? Did you help them find this, or?
Me?
Yes. Or you said that the name was close enough, and that you didn't want somebody for the vote not to be counted, so you told them just to push it through?
I honestly have no recollection of that, but is this what Bob Hendricks said?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, and this is what, excuse me, what is this? Is this, an absentee ballot?
Yes.
Okay.
Like the ones that you win?
Yeah.
How many votes does this represent? 22 votes?
Yeah. Yeah, because if you look at the name, I mean, if an officer asks you for your name, you just can't say my name is Pee Wee. They're going to tell you, what's your birth name?
Correct.
You know, I can't tell my name is Kiki Self. It has to be Chris Self. And for somebody to turn in something, this is why we question these absentee ballots so much, because how inconsistent and incomplete this is. D Coco, you know, and then the witness dash Coco.
Same signature.
It doesn't seem right. And then even if you look at the owner of the property, their name is nowhere near close to dash Coco.
So let me, just to ask a few questions if you don't mind. So, so with this being an absentee ballot, did this, are we saying that this, again, I'm asking a question, this got accepted, or
Yes,
do we know if it got accepted?
Yes,
or
it
we
was
don't?
accepted.
It was accepted.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, because we got all the paperwork from the CPA, what was accepted, what was not accepted. And one of the other things that we could not find is that there has to be an absentee ballot request form for you to get this. We can't find that nowhere. He doesn't have it. I've asked Becca for it, and she says that, and she gave me everything that she had. So there's no request form. So how did they get a hold of this?
Do you have to make a written request?
Yes.
You have to either email it, fax it, or come in person.
You told me they cannot come in person. You told me it had to be emailed. That's what I told the people that asked me.
No, they have the form that they have to sign,
Oh.
giving me the information. They either come in and sign that form, or email it, or fax it. And whatever it is, if somebody came in and then turned around and gave it to them, I don't know, Chris.
Where
I
is
just,
this,
whatever they use.
where are these rules? Are they written somewhere, this thing, that it has to be an email or in person or in writing?
I received all that information through Wanda that had been with the prior voting and elections,
Because,
that ran the elections.
you know, this is, just not a rehash, but this is part of the problem. Maybe that's a requirement, and maybe it's a great idea. I've never, it's like folklore, you know, it's handed down from generations, but it has, we have to have an election policy and process that says, this is acceptable, this is not. Here's the process to get a ballot. And so that may be a requirement, but you know, you gotta write this, it can't be because so-and-so said, that's the way we always did it. We have to have rules and procedures.
There was a,
And that's what allows things like this to happen, when you don't have good rules and procedures.
well, inside the, all the documentation that I found on the computers, it says, election procedure. And it stated everything in regards to the voting process and the absentee ballot process. That's where, you know, after she gave me the information, I went back and I started looking through the files on the computer, and that's what they typed on, because it's on a Word document. So anybody could have typed it up.
Yeah, if you could send that to me.
Yeah, anybody could have typed it up, but I went according to what had been established, because this was my first time doing the election. So I was following their protocol, and,
Well,
but I
we're
didn't
gonna
deal with
redo
the
this.
absent.
Yeah.
We are
Oh,
gonna,
absolutely.
we are gonna redo this top to bottom.
Was there an office
The election?
on the paper that you read those titles?
Who certified this one?
That's done by-
Who's supposed to certify these? See, is it,
Hendricks.
okay, this is legit. Who's supposed
Bob
to?
Hendricks,
The
they get
the
it through
overseer,
the.
that's his job, that's why I don't
He says all he
certify
does is
squat.
count them.
His job is to count.
He says he just counts them, that is it.
It goes directly to the appeal box that goes to, the CPA's office in Clewiston. From there, Sandy gives it to Bob Hendricks personally. Once he gets it, he verifies it at the voting place. I'm just telling you the process that I've
Right.
seen and the way it was,
Yeah,
okay?
he said that you couldn't verify.
I can't touch them, I don't touch them, he verifies it. He'll ask me if the name's on the roll call, and I'll be like, well, I see it. If I don't, then he'll go onto the computer and look it up.
So he's the one that said this one passed through?
He must have, I mean, I don't, like I told you, I
He
don't.
must have approved all.
I don't know.
Whatever,
Whatever
whatever
he
was
approved
counted,
it, because
he's,
nobody.
that's, he's the keeper of the process. Whatever they do.
Right. That's why we have
And
such a
he
big
should
issue with
always
this.
maintain, nobody should touch these ballots.
Correct.
But him.
Yeah. Because one thing is if these ballots, if everything was correct, there wouldn't be an issue. But whenever we find stuff like this, and this is just a small part of of the rest of it. So this is why we have a big issue with this. This is why we believe it's the board. The board should have this sent, it should be sent to the court, and they should do it. Because there's a lot of problems here, and this is only a little bit of it. And if this reaches to the right people, there's gonna be a lot of problems in here.
Well, we'll deal with them when they come. And by the way, we're gonna look into this and we're done with this matter for tonight.
What?
We're not gonna keep on and on every week, so, I'm gonna talk to Mr. Hendricks myself. The board already voted that we were not gonna pursue this matter,
And I
and we're
won't-
moving forward.
Why wouldn't they? It's
We-
your responsibility, it's your
we-
oath, y'all took an
Chris,
oath.
Chris,
Every person
Chris,
in here took an oath.
we said
And
it
you're not
last.
holding up to your oath.
It's called the fiduciary
We're
law.
done with it, Larry. We're moving forward. Thank you, sit down.
Hey, Chris.
It's enough. Or you're leaving, it's up to you. We're
Well,
not
you
doing
shouldn't
this.
have a say
This
so in
game
this.
is over.
You don't have a
have
say
say
so.
so in this because this happened,
I
this
have to
has
say
to do
so.
with yours.
I'm done. We've burned enough time on
Of
this.
course, so your
See you later.
convenience.
All right. what-
Your convenience, you didn't even win that election.
Yes, sir.
You guys need to learn what happened in 98
Allocate
says.
the attorney to come up with the proper paperwork, rules and regulations.
Yes, sir.
Officially, so I hereby make a motion.
We talked about this before, and he was also gonna look into the legislative,
Right,
the
but I
whole,
wanna make
the whole
it-
9
I
yards.
wanna make it official
Yes.
that I made a motion for the attorney to clear up
Yes.
disregarding what's in the computers.
Day late, dollar short.
Policy.
We have a second?
I'll second, but also I'd like to add on to this. Coming from a city in the past, working cities, counties, even now in the private sector, there's a lot of stuff that I see that really has to be, we need policies and procedures. There should be no questioning. The community, it should be as transparent and everybody know exactly what's going on. So what we really need to do is revamp this whole thing. I'm talking to the community and the employees. We need to revamp this whole thing, get some workshops, get this thing nailed for, not only for now, but for the future. So there's not these, people won't be upset. But how we're running this thing, it's like in the 1960s. There's too many gray areas here. I don't even like a lot of these gray areas. And if I was, well, I'll leave it alone. But again, we need to put policies and procedures in place like ASAP. So I do second. I approve your motion.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion
It
carries.
was talked about last month, and he said he was gonna do it last month. I know it because I saw the video before I came here. I, as a resident, am appalled that this has happened for X amount of years. 2007, Mr. Fumero, 2004.
I'm sorry.
That we've been, this has been illegal since 2004, no? Or 2001.
7.
When you say this, you mean absentee?
Absentee ballots.
Yes.
Where was the lawyer here? Where was the community? What were the supervisors doing? That they didn't realize this, and it was done every year. What happened? And I am complaining as a resident, and I'm complaining as a supervisor.
Supposedly, I talked to some people who've been around for a long time. Supposedly, when the proxy vote was taken out, that's when the mail-in vote started. One replaced the other. Supposedly, it was done through the legislature. I don't know that. But everyone that has been in this seat since then has been voted in exactly how the same election. So this isn't anything different than before. Now, is it right or not, I'm like you. I like transparency.
Yeah.
But we
can't
can't
even spell
sit
it.
here and dwell on this for the next year and not get the business of this community taken care
You
of.
gave us
So,
paperwork.
we need to fix it and move on.
Yeah,
That's
listen,
what we have to do.
and I got clear direction, we're gonna do that.
Yes.
Well, not just the board, but the people who vote need to understand what are the rules of the game, so
Yes.
everybody plays on a level playing field.
We all played by the rules that were here.
Yeah, so whatever those rules are, I'm gonna write those up
Yes.
and present them to you, a whole policy and a process, so that we, for example, the role of Bob Hendricks, it's,
Roles
I
and
asked them, what's
responsibilities.
your role?
Roles and
It's not
responsibilities, not
written
just
down.
roles, roles and
Yeah.
responsibilities, so there be no questioning.
So, the
Exactly. It
same
should be
thing with the
united.
chain of custody, you know.
He has to have some accountability.
Well,
Put that
If he's the
down.
one that's
I
responsible.
can tell you this, we talked about this last week. I think we were very clear with this can't go, won't go, will go, and we just need to push on. Reestablish it. If we have to go to the legislature, we go to the legislature and we get it done, write it up, let everybody look at it. Let everybody, have a public meeting and here's what we have. Anybody's have any suggestions, let's have them. Write it, clear as it can be, and make sure everybody knows what their role is and push on.
So everybody knows the rules
Yeah.
in this whole community going forward.
And that's all you can do. Yes, sir.
I've asked this question before, I'm gonna ask it. Why don't we turn the elections like I and Denise and I have it, which is by popular vote in Henry County?
Because it has to go to the legislature.
That's-
The reason
you
y'all are
have to
there,
change the law.
it was a legislative change.
Okay.
So I actually spoke to the lawyer who was hired by Central County a number of years ago when they did the legislation to change the mix of.
Yes. It's here.
Okay, so I even, and apparently it was very controversial. They were gonna originally go one person, one vote.
All the board.
A lot of people, yeah, all the seats would be elected, one person, one vote. A lot of people got upset, and the compromise was breaking it up as it is now. So some seats are 1 acre, 1 vote, some seats are one person. So, to get the Henry County election supervisor, I also spoke to some people who, they're not interested.
She did it. She did it one time, and she said she was done with it.
Right.
She didn't want to do it, she didn't have to do it, and she wasn't gonna do
Let
it.
me just say, the concept to have a independent, separate entity run and oversee the election, that's a wonderful thing. I think that's, to make sure that things don't happen, that anything is not altered, that the wrong people touch these ballots, that's a great thing. So we can certainly explore that. Step one is, I need to present to you all the policy, the procedures. And just, for example, if we want to continue to accept absentee ballots, we have to change the legislation.
And we should.
So, and that's a policy. I don't know how many people who own property here live here versus in Miami or Hialeah. I don't know if half the people that own land here live in Miami and Hialeah. If they do, there's a policy of, you probably should have absentee ballots because those people aren't gonna come over here. or at least a proxy ballot, because you, under the law, you could do proxies for reasons that I have no idea why. When Central County changed its charter, it said, we will not do proxies.
I can tell you why.
Okay.
There was a gentleman that would go around and get all votes from everywhere, and he controlled this board. That's why they got rid of him.
Like Bruno did.
He got proxies from everyone,
Like you?
and that's what happened. We got one person saying who's still on the board.
It's
That's why
happening
they
now.
changed it.
That's what's still happening
Anyone for
today.
you?
Yeah.
Well,
55-22.
I disagree, listen, I'm not gonna argue with y'all, I disagree with you.
We
All you have to
agree.
do is
We
look at
ran
the proof in your
just like
Look at the
hand.
proof in your
everybody
hand.
else did, and won just like everybody else did.
Look
and
at
here
the
we are
proof in your
again.
hand.
Let me explain one thing.
Listen, we're done,
These
we're done.
No, he has a right to
Hey,
tell you.
If they continue, I need an escort out of this meeting.
Why?
We
We have a right, we're citizens.
You can't come in here and disrupt this meeting.
He's not
We're
disrupting,
not
he's giving you
disrupting
proof.
the meeting. We're
He's
pushing
giving
on.
you proof of a fraud,
Let's go, move on.
but it doesn't behoove you. That's what it is. Otherwise, he wouldn't have won.
All right, whatever.
No, whatever.
All right, so, with that being said, the district manager's report.
Is there any more?
Is there any, I think that was it, we got one paper.
Nobody speaks up to him.
Public?
Okay. All right,
We are still working on the dirt roads. Dirt roads is taking a lot of material.
Son of a bitch.
Also on inspection, elevation, the number has increased big time. We already finishing with the canals, and we are currently working on the Woodland project. By the way, with the Woodland project, I would like for you guys to consider voting on the purchase of the covers, so we can have it for January. If it's okay with you guys.
I don't see a problem with it, I'll make a motion to buy that.
I think we did.
the culverts are,
Culverts.
for Woodland. In case we didn't, it's just.
Yeah, in case we didn't, I hereby make a motion to
Second.
buy the pipe.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
We're still cleaning a lot of trash throughout Montura. It's been increasing in the last couple of weeks. Basically, one entire day out of each week, we gotta get 2 or 3 people picking up trash with trucks. It's not about garbage bags anymore, it's trucks.
Mr. Arminio, let me interrupt.
Yes.
What happened to the signs that I suggested we place? Those signs that I've been waiting for months?
Well, the lady that does the signs for Sinorama?
No, for Lions.
Yes.
It's the same lady?
It's
It's
the same
the
Okay,
same
she
company.
calls
It's
the
the
same
same company.
Okay.
She has cancer, and she had been out, and they just picked up the slack under, so the signs are done, we have to go pick them.
Okay.
But I just got the.
I still believe that Montura has to be educated. I still believe, I could be naive, that most of the garbage that's being dumped is by people that are ignorant, that don't know that they could place it in front of their houses.
I don't believe that.
Why?
Well, there's
I've
no
been
been
asked.
a bag down on.
I've been
Colorado
asked.
for 3 weeks.
You know, well, where are we supposed to put the garbage? And I've taken the time to tell them where.
Sorry. I'm sorry. No, you're.
I will take time to educate.
I disagree, I don't think it's a matter of education, I think it's a matter of convenience. If, I know that,
Pay the $10,000.
I know that by closing the dump, we saved a little money, but I think we have to open up Pandora's box. I've driven around, I've been with the manager on numerous occasions with, the police department and with, code enforcement. I think we need to open the dump again to make it convenient for the people to dump the trash. Because nobody likes to pick up the trash out of their house, put it in the front of the house, and wait for those people to come and pick up the trash. So,
It's not our people doing it.
I believe it's damn if we do and damn if we don't, but at least before we do not have this amount of trash, and if you think about it, what is costing us in labor, equipment, and picking up the trash, like we have to dedicate a day
Twice a week.
to, you know, do this, we actually, either we spend the same amount of money or we spending more money. And the things that I don't like is if we're picking up trash, we're not improving our community. We're wasting a day of picking up garbage that we can be doing for grading and cutting grass and doing that and that, so
How do you justify $100,000 a year? The
By the
last
amount
month
of
was
people-
9,000 something
We,
for garbage.
I wanna ask a question. The dumpster, every dumpster is $9,000?
No, for the whole month.
month. They bill us, I
$9,000.
guess,
It went
on a
to
monthly
5,
basis.
7,
Yeah.
9.
Because we changed that, the reason we did that years ago was because we were tracking our costs, chasing around after garbage. Equipment, man hours and everything. It was twice as expensive to do what you're doing than to have a dumpster. But we had a dumpster, we had hours that people could come and someone watching it, so everything and everybody did come. Now, the people coming from out of town, I've watched them, when the dumpster was here, trailer loads of stuff coming from Lewiston. They'd come right out here and dump it. But you have to have somebody to man it.
We have somebody that
And keep an eye on it, and only citizens
It
in
didn't
this
work.
area. But at some
Is it
point,
house garbage or
it's
is it
just trash,
construction?
Everything.
construction,
All construction.
tire,
Yep.
All right, so
and
then
you're
it's
gonna see
not
that.
people,
Tires
it's
are free.
businesses,
Well-
people running a truck and.
Yes. And when they start building houses here, if you think we have garbage now, wait till the builders come in and dump it here. Then what do you do?
So
You mean to tell me that it's $18,000 if we keep it the way they've been doing it before?
he says it's.
He says double.
He says it is what? It is picking up.
Yes.
You're gonna, two things you're gonna look at. You're gonna spend a lot of time, and it's gonna continue to grow. You're gonna spend so much time chasing garbage, the cost is gonna get there. We looked at it before. And then, all that time that you're spending doing that, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're not fixing roads, you're not doing anything, because you have everybody chasing garbage.
Well,
And we
we
did
were
it,
picking
we
up-
did it, we did it.
We were picking up today and we couldn't finish.
Of course, and it's gonna get worse and worse and worse. Because once everybody figured out they can bring it here, they stopped throwing it all over the place.
So then that's not a solution.
So, well,
What you're saying is not a solution.
It was cheaper to do it before, the way we were doing it, than them chasing it all over the place.
What about just another, because again, I live here too, and I have a property, and it happened, I couldn't believe it, but it did happen to me as well. Why don't we put signs illegal dumping, and we start enforcing what we need to enforce? We have.
Let me touch on that real quick. All right, illegal dumping, the last 3 people I've gotten illegal dumping, 2 of them have been residents out here, 1 of them has not been a resident out here. So I wrote them a $500 ticket, gave them a court date, made them pick up all the trash, put it back on the trailer, back in the bed of the truck. Told them, stipulations, when you show up for your court date, if you don't show up, I get to come kick your door in, which is overtime for me. When they show up, they have to show a waste management dump ticket, dump receipt for the poundage, and for the date, that same date where it was dumped at. When they show up for court and they don't have it, I recommend to the judge, they get hit with a $1,500 fine. So for every illegal dumper that I catch, there's 50 I don't catch. So
That's the problem.
Yeah.
There's so many that you
Yeah.
can't get and don't have enough people out here. I don't care how we do it, but I'm just saying, we found a solution before. Now, they're getting that expensive, that it's not a solution anymore, I don't know, but what's gonna happen is, you're gonna continue to chase garbage more and more every day you watch. It's happened before.
We're gonna have to have some repercussions for these people doing this.
We had people arrested before, they were caught.
When you say chasing trash around, what are you talking about?
Do what?
When you say chasing trash around, like they chase trash.
They got our equipment running around from place to place, picking up little piles of trash that are dumped on the side of the road, on people's lots, everywhere. That's what they're doing. People are supposed to be doing other things here, they're chasing trash all over the place.
So how about instead of chasing the trash, you just call us out one day and we'll go with you? And because the unit that I'm a part of is the interdiction unit, which my whole job is to solve problems that you guys have in specific.
I have a list.
Call me up one day. I'll come out here.
What's your
I have
name?
no problem. It's Deputy Todd. I have no problem giving citations out to everybody you want me to give citations out to.
Sergeant Hanley is his sergeant. She was out here at the last meeting, Barney, and she handed out phone numbers and stuff, so if you call the numbers.
If you call the sheriff's department and ask for the CIU, the interdiction unit. They will get a hold of us. And our whole purpose in life is to come solve little problems like this. Because honestly, this is a little problem. Like,
Well, it is now.
a couple days of me coming out, giving people $500 tickets
Excellent.
that they have no choice but to pay, it's easy. A lot of the problems you guys have, like you guys that I've seen since I've been here, you guys shouldn't even have to deal with them.
That's what I've been told from other neighborhoods. Other neighborhoods here.
So the thing I just came in here and saw, your ballot problem. That's not y'all's problem. Get a hold of us. It's called voter fraud. I mean, it's a law.
Thank you.
We have detectives
And we have the
that do
proof.
stuff like this. It's not on you guys. Like, but you guys have to understand. There's things that people have their hands in, and there's things that they don't. When it comes to situations like this, a lot of times you guys want to get mad because they are your elected officials, but they don't have any fingers in those pots. So when something like that happens, you go through the right channels. Call us. We'll get a detective out there. The detective checks it out, finds out what it is, and we'll go do the legwork and find out who's responsible.
I love it.
And then we go.
We've got a package for you.
So it's all about going the right way. A lot of your problems we can solve easily. That's what we're here for. And we'll do that. You just got to get with us. You just got to let us know. We can sit here every time you guys have a meeting and not say anything. It's when you guys decide you want our help, then we'll come and we'll help you.
No, we didn't. All you're telling us is new to me.
Well, we got paperwork for you for voter fraud.
Mr. Chair,
It's
how
so
about
clear.
if we hire a part-time flexible individual
It's more money.
that can be used in the discretion of the manager to go with the truck that we have to drive around and picking up trash. Last time, part-time flexible would not cost us that much, and it's gonna be used on the discretion of the manager. We have a truck, right? We have a truck available, the ones you guys get. So we do have a truck, so we can hire somebody, it's gonna be for picking up trash, so the wages can be low, part-time. And we can use that individual to pick up the slack of what the police department cannot handle or see, and it will prevent the rest of the crew from stopping their production to pick up trash.
All right. So again, this is the same. We have these community. Anytime you have community meetings and you want us to come, the interdiction unit will come. I've just had 3 other interdiction meetings today, and I told them all the same thing. From a neighborhood perspective, you got to understand little problems are little problems until you allow them to happen. Little problems turn into big problems. Big problems turn into massive problems. Once they get to the massive problem stage, and you guys are sitting here with your hands, you're like, I don't know what to do at this point because everybody's mad. Simple solution for it is exactly what we just said. If people are legally dumping, and it's right in front of their house, and a citizen's like, oh no, that's not my trash. Guess what? It's on your lot. If it is not your trash, and somebody comes out, and you do not contact me, so that I can get them instead of you, you are now going to inherit that ticket. That ticket's going to go to you. You give those tickets out, your problem's done. Like, nobody wants a $500 ticket.
Sometimes it's done at night when everyone is sleeping, so you
Hey,
can't.
and that's why we have these neighborhood watch. I tell every community in Henry County, everybody has a pair of eyes. Everybody can see
I
stuff.
said that too.
So when you see somebody in front of your house,
Yep.
call us. I mean, you have this
Take
guy
a
that's out-
picture of the tag.
Listen, I don't necessarily want you to go running outside and take a picture of a tag because
On the
you might
window.
risk the chance that the guy hops out of the car.
Okay.
Just call us. I mean, if it becomes a problem like that, I have no problem coming out here in the middle of the night, and I will sit and I will watch. Like, I won't be in my car. My car will be parked right here, and I'll be in the middle of Montura, and I'll watch and I find these people. That is my sole purpose in this agency.
How many
I'll help
times
you.
a week can you work in a community?
My schedule is completely flexible.
Okay.
I come all the time.
We need to, and do we need to have a community meeting or a meeting like this, the board?
No, you just need to contact the sheriff's office. He works with you guys. I work for the sheriff's office. Like my whole purpose is to solve your little problems.
Can you come up here and give me your phone number?
Yeah.
Why don't you arrest Tim while you're up there?
This is great all the way, here's what I'm trying to say. I don't want to cater to the people that are doing
You
this.
get paperwork with
I agree.
Bruno.
But
With
so
Bruno.
what I like to see
We're gonna
is
catch him
us
on
as
the
a
way out.
community put put a stop to it and use the resources that are allotted to us. Because if not, it's gonna be one person, two person. We need to show the community that we're serious about our community because we want this to be a clean community.
So I believe with his help,
Yes, sir?
and if we hire a part-time flexible to pick up the slack, then we would not interrupt without,
If
you know.
you want trash picked up, we have correction people that need to do volunteer.
Oh,
They
that's
need
what we
plenty of time to volunteer. We can probably get plenty
That's
of
what we need.
them. Yeah. You can? They've been out here many a times.
No, thank you. They're not criminals there.
No longer, because they were used before out here in Montura.
No, no, right. Oh, that's only, I already checked on it.
Okay.
That is only the sheriff's department can make that
You got some
decision
of the crew anyways.
where they want it as a community service.
Yeah, or the
We
manager.
cannot request, hey, can you come to our area and pick up trash?
I got
So
you.
I go back to the beginning.
Yes, sir.
If we allocate one part-time flexible
Yeah, that day,
to pick up the slack,
give out.
it's only a temporary job. If it picks up, and the dumping stops, we can ask this guy, or this lady, or whatever we hire, that we don't need them. But we have, we have an opportunity
Hire somebody, getting
not to
benefits.
interrupt the performance.
We can try, you wanna try it? I mean, it's.
I hereby make a move that we hire a part-time flexible to be used with the description of the, with the discretion of the manager, strictly for trash pickup in the community.
I was gonna say that sooner or later, we do gonna need another employee. But anyway, the trash that we talking about, if you go to the dump site, there's even a full boat. We pick up a boat that somebody throw in the middle of the road.
A boat?
There's probably
No.
200 boats out here.
Yeah.
But that's everyone out here too.
But this one was
Should we try this?
in the middle of the road. I seen them on the, on the beach, this one was right in the middle.
To look at the budget and everything and see if we
Oh,
can.
VIN number.
I'm not against it, but I really wanna look at the budget and see what we're gonna do with this person, what he's gonna get paid, he or she, and what are the roles and responsibilities. 'Cause what I don't want is somebody just running around here driving our stuff and not really doing anything. Me personally,
Y'all wanna table it and look at it next month?
I'm not against it, Louis, I'd like to see how it fits in with our budget.
I do need help with the little garbage
With
outside.
the little
Hey,
garbage,
Joe.
see what I'm saying? Now it's gonna be little garbage.
I'm telling you. Stop.
Joke of the day.
Now, of
Guys.
course, the price has changed, so I don't know.
If we hire a person just to take that load, right? Pick up the trash, every time I've seen it, I've witnessed it, and I've been involved in it.
So you seen them dumping?
No.
Oh,
I've seen it. No, in the case, we even had a bin from a vehicle, but the vehicle was not reported stolen, so there was nothing we could do. You know, that's, code enforcement is really working with us, but if we don't compensate by having a part-time flexible pick up the slack of the time, we're gonna get behind our work.
What are we, what kind of money are you talking about for part-time?
What, part-time flexible, what, the $12, $13 an hour?
We're gonna get $10 for 10 years.
Does Christmas bonus?
4 hours a day? You said part-time,
5 hours per day.
5 hours a day?
4 days, because we work 4 days.
Well,
Five per day,
Part-time is considered how many hours?
32 hours.
32.
Without 32, so that.
Oh, we can do more if you guys agree.
Until you get benefits, right?
No, right. So we gotta keep it part-time flexible, 32 hours.
32 times what?
$12, he said.
Yeah, and they never have to.
No, 11.
$11.
If it's $12 an hour, you're talking about 20,000 a year.
11.
And how much is it done?
11 now?
Well, it's 20,000, you're gonna save us so rough.
How much is it?
She had 9 to 10 a month.
What's a pay the trash truck right now? You're gonna pay the guy $12 to pick up garbage.
What he's talking about, this can't hurt.
Well, we had it
So what were you making as a grader? 13?
We had it before, it was Pedro, right?
So I would amend the motion to have a 6-month trial period.
one already? Did you hire someone to pick up garbage outside the road already?
Yeah.
And you now want another one?
If we have one,
You want
we have
another
one
one?
right now. If one can't do it, you have one now?
I got
That's all we had
one.
last
Yeah,
time.
he wants another one.
Yes, sir.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
If this is a problem, there's not enough time in the day, why don't they just go 5 days a week?
Still more cost.
I mean, how's it work?
I think they've done probably good.
All right, so we're gonna look at it and try to settle this at the next meeting, is that what y'all wanna do? Okay.
Thanks, where you going?
We'll table it the next meeting and then, everybody's had time to do research and we'll bring it back up. Okay? You were on your report, so.
Yeah, we were able to fix the John Deere tractor in-house. We kinda hijacked into the computer and we were able to fix it. Also the F-150 that was parked for like 3 years, $8,000, whatever, remember that? It's fixed, it's working, it's in the clubhouse. We gotta change the brakes and the little stopper is working.
No.
Talking about the clubhouse, we have a big problem with the playground. The playground, I'm not exactly sure, it's been there for 20-something years. The main frame of that playground is completely rusted. Holes, it's bad. We have it closed. We can't use it anymore. Yeah, it's closed, it's fenced. It needs to be replaced.
How much?
Anything between $25,000 and $35,000. If we buy the same, or more or less the same playground, that's
Somebody's in the budget to do it?
Yes, they had it
As
last.
far as I know, unless if the money went somewhere
They had it
else.
the last 5 years.
I'm sorry, what's the question?
We need a motion.
He's asking, is the money in your budget? And I said, yes.
I hereby make if the money's in the budget.
We adopt the last year budget, right?
Yes.
That's what we did. So we have, just for the summer camp, $32,000 that we're not gonna use.
So I hereby move that we can move ahead and order the playground.
Is that the only thing that's, just wanna make sure, and I approve your motion, but is there any other things that we can get sued for at that playground that's not operational? At in the clubhouse?
No, it's just a playground, right?
Yeah, the playground and the metal slide, and it's rusted out too. The Seminole swings are also gone on it.
Oh,
Is
they're
that
all
part of the
old.
$20,000 or is that separate?
No, just a playground, it will be between 25 and 35,000.
What is a playground?
Yeah, I'm not clear on where the
Can you
playground
elaborate
is.
on playground?
This is
Can you
a-
elaborate on playground? We're talking about one piece of equipment, all the pieces of equipment.
The entire playground it has different
Yes, sir.
stations.
I understood.
Okay, if you're gonna replace the entire playground, not counting the separate, the slide, there's a metal slide that's been there forever, the Indian, the cowboy, all that stuff. Just the playground is
20 to 30,000. So what,
25.
do you have it anywhere it's gonna cost to replace the rest of it? If it's rusty and if there's damage, it needs to come down or replaced.
no, the other ones is not need to be closed yet, but soon enough it will be.
I wouldn't wait.
I have a suggestion.
Go ahead.
Why don't you leave, you already closed that one up with a fence? Okay, since you already did all that work, don't do that this year. Do the little pieces. The swings, the pole, whatever. 2 or 3 little pieces.
The other pieces are still working. There's no problem with the other pieces yet.
But are they rusty to the part that next year you'll have to replace it? That's my question.
No.
No?
No.
That will last more than 1 year?
Yes.
Why don't we just replace what needs to be, take the $30,000 and replace everything that needs to be replaced, and when you run out of money, the rest of it's gotta be tore down, and next year, then we'll put it back up with another, whatever you need.
I don't have no problem with that. If you want
Yeah,
it.
I mean, we gotta do
You
somewhere.
guys wanna replace everything, we'll replace everything. I don't have no problem.
No, he said replace
What needs
for
to be-
$30,000.
Run our money, use that money to replace everything that needs to be, the worst stuff first.
Right.
And then we see what we got, you evaluate what you got, if it's safe for another year, fine, and if it's not, I'd take it down, because somebody's gonna get hurt.
Can you give us a prioritized list
Yes.
and with prices on it, so like Becky, if you could help them give us a prioritized list, whatever swing, this much money, whatever swing, boom. But I also want that if it's priority, and that has to happen, and us as a community is gonna get sued, the county's gonna get sued, Central County, we gotta get it fixed.
Makes sense.
And next time, this kind of stuff has to be on the agenda. You can't spend $20,000 or $30,000 by raising a question. You gotta have it on the agenda. When you're spending that kind of money, that's why we have an agenda. So if you bring this back, playground reconstruction, playground project, but that's why we have an agenda. The culverts, the pool deck repair, you can't off the cuff raise these issues. Put them on the agenda, that's what we have an agenda
Well,
for.
they are on my
Okay, you wanna
report,
be an attorney?
just not the prices, but they are on my report.
Right, but
Not-
when the board votes, that's
Not
the
the
agenda.
agenda.
They don't vote on your report, they vote on the agenda.
The
We
first
gotta
thing,
get back to,
So let's go back to the money's there,
yes.
you're gonna get us an itemized list, so that's another 30 days.
Yeah.
yeah, but it's fenced off.
And then
Oh, it's-
you should, as a board, you don't have to competitively bid it, but you should probably say, we want to have at least 2 bids,
Yeah.
3 bids.
Definitely.
It's your decision.
No, yes,
Two
definitely.
bids minimum.
Definitely, minimum 2 bids.
Right.
Okay, so we'll hear about it next month,
All right.
okay?
That was it? Oh, I'm still waiting for the quotes. I got one. There's 2 more companies that are sending the quotes for the pool deck.
I have a question, Mr. Manager.
Yes.
I believe that, at least I remember, and maybe the other supervisors remember, that I have requested the other manager that whenever whenever he hired a new personnel,
Right.
I wanted the application and I wanted the police report.
Yes, ma'am.
At least the names of the people that you hired within the 30 days that we had not seen each other. Do you have that available?
Every employee has a police report, yes.
No, that's not what I am asking you for. I said that with the last manager, I said
Right.
that you should bring to us in our meetings once a month, the application, you gave it to me from 2 or 3 employees at that time, and the police report for each.
I don't record that.
Yes, I did it with Kelly.
Did y'all vote on
Mr.
that?
Kelly.
Was this?
Maybe
board
you
vote?
did it with Kelly, but I don't record that.
Yes.
Yes.
Was it
I have
voted
on my
on?
home.
Was it voted on?
I don't know if it was voted on.
Because one supervisor here can't dictate policy. It has to be voted on.
Of
by the
course.
Why,
board.
you do?
If this board voted
I
on
don't-
it, he should do it, and if not, we need to.
Nobody, I never hear about that.
And I even did it with Cookie. I
Maybe you
requested
did it
that.
with them, but not
Right.
with me. I don't know
Okay.
what you're talking about.
So, do we need a motion on the floor?
Could I
Is this
finish
something
my
y'all wanna look
thoughts, and whatever you disagree with, then take it out, and then we vote on what you do agree with?
Well, just throw it at us and let's see what.
Okay. Hiring of new personnel is at the background check and the application. Maybe you could select one of the supervisors to get it, or all of us get it. It's up to you, or up to us, what we wanna do with that. Okay, incident report. You requested incident report 2 months ago, okay? I've heard about incidents that have not been reported. I did not get those reports from you. Did you get reports, incident reports? Did you? Okay,
Can you mention one of them?
yes, I'm going to.
Okay.
Okay. One was 2 accidents that happened with a trailer or a truck and a vehicle that belongs to us,
Right.
that it was damaged by an employee.
Which vehicle was that?
I don't know the names of the vehicles. 2 accidents that happened. Okay, that was last month.
I recall one accident.
And we didn't get any report, okay? Did we get a report of that accident?
We had the incident report, and we even took the person to the drug test.
You didn't give it to me? You didn't give it to
Do I
anyone else?
need to give it to you?
He said that he did not know what was going on.
No,
When
he
he-
wants
when-
incident report to be filled out.
And if we don't see it, what's the purpose of having them?
Okay, let's back up again. Did this board vote on that he needed to turn in incident reports?
Did we have a vote?
Yes.
I don't
When you
recall
requested
it.
it?
I do recall the incident report that I wanted to know what was going on. And yes, if that motion needed to be amended, we receive a copy of the incident report, but I do not recall saying that we needed a copy. I requested the incident report. Now, being that I made the motion, I amend it now with a new motion that we get a copy of the incident report in the monthly meetings.
Incident report, accident reports?
Anything that goes on, arguments,
Incident.
we've had also
Anything that happened.
with employees.
Maybe there's a quick, easy solution. Maybe we can have one motion that says, anytime an employee is hired or fired, or anytime there is an incident report that is filled out, as part of your monthly report to the board, you will tell the board, there was an incident, this is what happened, here's the report, we hired somebody this month, we fired somebody this month. Make that a regular part of the action item on your manager's report.
The truck was hit, a picture, the
Rather
brother was
than,
hit, a
you know,
picture, yes.
yeah, sending reports out and then you're
No,
gonna
no,
call the
just-
question.
just
Maybe
throw-
you
bring them here.
Yeah, does that sound good?
How it was handled.
I believe that the police was here
How it was
last week,
handled,
Yes,
how it was
ma'am.
handled?
okay?
Yes.
Did you write a report on the police coming here because of altercation
We
with
have the
2
incident
employees?
report. Yes.
Okay, then we need to see them.
We have it in the office.
And did you take, you applied the policies that we have already written for the incidents with these employees?
I spoke to everybody, yes.
Did you apply the policy, I asked you?
Which policy did you need
No.
me to?
Well, you're the one that's supposed to look at the
Right.
policies and you decide which one you apply on them for the incident.
There was an argue for 2 seconds, and I didn't, I did a verbal warning to both of them.
There was an argument of a threat.
That doesn't count to me, not in front of me.
They didn't do it in front of you?
It was 2 second argue, and that was it.
Yes, yes, sir.
Oh, okay, so, this incident, these incidents were brought to my attention earlier tonight. I want you to understand something. And I'm gonna try to say it as easy as I can without kind of feeling like I'm going over the top. If somebody makes a threat to one of your employees, it is not within your legal right not to report it to me. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So if somebody threatens one of your employees with bodily harm, and you don't report it to me, and then that person does it, you know who's legally liable? You are. Like, I'm not gonna arrest, I'm gonna arrest them, but the next person I'm gonna go see is you.
Okay.
Because it is within your legal right to look out for your employees. Like, I may have to pull reports tonight over these incidents, just so you know.
Can I ask one, because I still don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
What
that's-
happens?
We're going there, we're going there. Yes, sir, we're going there.
I was here, I came here and I saw the sheriff department and I asked the deputy if it was something I can do because I was part of the board. And the deputy says, yes, stick around. So I was here when the deputy asked the questions to the 2 people. I heard both sides of the story. The deputy made a decision that he did not need to arrest anybody, and end of story. I believe there was an incident report
Yes.
that was written in it, but I took the word of the deputy, who, for what he heard, didn't have enough substance to make an arrest or follow up with a police report or something like that.
So to clarify that for you, anytime you call me out anywhere, anybody in the sheriff's office, and you deem it's something that you would like a report on, you get a report. That is 100% every citizen in Hendry County's legal right.
If you say, hey, I want a report.
We will give you a report, and if they say they're gonna give you a report, you ask for what's called a CAD card. What that card does is that card has my name on it, if I'm the reporting officer, and then it has a number on it. That number is your case number. So, 10 days, no, actually, it's right away. Within 3 days of me giving that card, you can go down to the sheriff's office, and you as a board member, you can request that information because it's public information. Now, unless it becomes an active case, at which point, when you go down to the sheriff's office, they're gonna say, hey, this is an active case, we can't give it to you right now. But that will let you know, and it gives you peace of mind that something did happen and something's documented. For you guys, we talk a lot about liability. It takes all of it away from you, because now you have that document where we took that liability away from you.
It was reported.
I wanna make a motion. I make a motion that every incident that the police department comes here for, and, okay, we get an incident report from the police department, automatically. He's in
Why don't we just,
We have to make a policy.
That would have been included
Yeah.
on
he already brought it up about
Okay.
everything, so,
What I'm suggesting is, I'm gonna say it, and someone can just adopt it.
okay.
That we have a motion that every month, as part of the manager's report, he will do two things. Number one, report on the hiring or firing or personnel actions of any employee, period. Number two, he will report on any incidents. That's an incident where a incident report was filled out. Maybe they called the police, maybe they didn't. It could have been a vehicular issue. He'll report on those events at the monthly meeting as part of the manager's report.
That's not what I said, Mr. Fumero. He said that he will do it, a report, if we request it.
Right.
And he said that if we request it, it's on record, and it takes away the liability from us.
Right, but let's, one thing at a time, so let's get that one.
Oh, okay, you're doing two different things?
Then, the second one isn't a vote, the second one is at medium. Anytime the police are here, request a report from them. You don't need a motion.
Should we put it in the policy?
I hereby make a motion for recess.
So moved. Yes.
Okay.
Anybody second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
So, let me just clarify one thing. Here's my only beef with that. Say for instance, I'm just gonna give a scenario, because it always happens. So let's say an incident happens on January 2nd. We don't meet till January 23rd. What if it's a critical incident?
Well, we expect the manager to deal with any critical issue.
So,
And if there's any problem, you should call us, you know, to
yeah,
work it out.
we can't legislate common sense. I mean, I can write policies that build this road.
Not said.
The manager should have, and I believe does, the common sense that if anything, anybody ever got injured at this property, if there was ever a serious accident, if the police show up, arrest people, issue warrants, tickets, whatever, you ought to send an email or make a phone call to everyone and say, hey, this happened. That's good common sense.
I agree.
Is there any gray areas, so we can answer it now? Is there any gray areas that we're not sure of from the office staff? So to make sure we don't encounter them.
To me, is when in doubt, let them know.
Yes.
Just, that's an easy
You got our
way.
email, telephone number, let us know. Hey, this happened today. I'll write it up and turn it in at the next
You
meeting.
know, if you let me know, I'll shoot an email blast to everybody, real quick.
And remember, I want you to remember something, and I think you'll back me on that. You're liable for the decisions you make. We are, but you are too. Okay? You can be gotten personally, so.
Please be aware.
Just remember, who you take,
We didn't have insurance till 2 months ago. The supervisors.
yeah.
I got my own 2 years ago, the day I sat on this day. We didn't have any insurance for the supervisors.
I got my own insurance.
I did too. I had to get it because I couldn't believe it. 2 months ago.
It's very simple.
Like I told you,
Everybody's gotta be
way
treated the
behind
same.
times here in Central County.
Everything's the same, no preference for anyone. We have rules, whoever breaks the rules, and if they're bad enough, they gotta go. I don't care if he's your best friend. You gotta conduct yourself that way, and you don't have to worry about it. If you start picking and choosing, I'm just saying, I don't know what happened. I've got bits and pieces, but you have to be right there, right there. Anything else? We're straight, good. All right, so.
I got a few questions.
Go ahead.
On the report, where are we at as far as the road? What road are we on as far as the dirt road? Because the community's been calling me and hounding me, so where are we at? Because like some people live on Granja, or some other roads, so where are we at?
Right now, we're finishing on, Keno.
So we're finishing, so we did from A to K already?
No, we don't.
I thought we were gonna go A, B, C, D.
That's what I thought, but there's a lot of roads that really needs more attention.
And mine too.
That
I'm being
it's been
patient.
in a list for a long time, and I personally went to the roads, so we kinda shut off those fires.
So where did we stop at?
pretty bad.
So I can report back to the people that helped elect me.
We still have a lot of roads on the list.
Keno's finished?
So, but what major road did we stop on? Because we started on A, I seen our guys on B, C.
We went through Port Cypress, we went through Montura, we went through Horse Club.
No, I'm talking about the dirt roads where they do the laying the rock and grading.
Yeah, we went through Port Cypress with the quarter-mile road.
Oh, okay, so you're starting at Pine Cone working this way?
Yes.
Pine Cone, Ball Cypress, Horse Club.
Bald Cypress didn't get hit.
Horse Club is.
Neither did Montora.
So can you present this going forward every month? Can you present
I
your
am dodging
plan,
potholes.
your plan of actions and what you're working on? So when we get calls in the middle of the night, hey, he's on this street, because again, I live here too, so I have to be patient. I've got nasty holes in my road too.
And maybe you need to evaluate them and get the worst ones first instead of following the pattern. If you got some that are better than others,
I
get
think
the
they're all
worst
pretty
ones first and
bad.
then go back.
So here's what I don't want you to do. I don't want the community, I don't want us chasing fires. I want us to be proactive, not reactive. I'm tired of us being reactive. We're always reactive. We need to be ahead of the curve. So,
Yes, sir.
so with that, I appreciate it, and I appreciate the work.
Well, keep in mind also that those roads hasn't been any road fill for years.
I don't disagree. There's a lot that needs to be done, a lot of money to be spent. My next question is the clubhouse. Mr. Bennett, you might be able to answer this. We got hit, Irma came in September, I believe, of last year. So we've gone September to September, that's 12, add a couple more months, so about 14, 15 months. There's been no repairs to that clubhouse in 15 months, and FEMA has not showed up. So do we continue to allow that monument, that landmark, to continue to be deteriorated? Because that's what it looks like it's happening, because when it rains, it's leaking inside that clubhouse.
Well, we're gonna have to fix the roof.
When
Because
it's been
FEMA is a reimbursement program. That project has been turned into FEMA. And once we fix the roof and get the invoices, then that can go in and
So
for reimbursement.
So for 14 months, we've been waiting to fix it? That's what, I'm asking the question, because I really want some good answers here. Because if it was my house, I'd want it repaired, and repaired like ASAP, and then turn the invoices in later with pictures, description of the work that was done, so on and so forth.
Exactly.
So can we get that, does the board agree to get the clubhouse roof fixed, so it stop leaking?
I agree, but hang on to your wallets, boys.
Yeah, and by the way, we spent $100,000 just now.
At least.
Altogether. No, more, without any board agenda items. I'm sorry, but this is becoming a problem. You just can't do that. So when these contracts, when you have a contract for all this work, clubhouse, roof, pool deck, culverts, playground, they gotta be voted on by the board. You cannot sign those contracts.
No, I know that.
Okay, they gotta come on the agenda.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're gonna get somebody looking for roof, get us a price.
We need
Yes.
quotes.
Yeah, quickly as possible.
Yeah, we already got a price and we turned it into FEMA,
How much is it?
but, I can't remember, it was it was just to repair, it was $6,000.
It was just to repair, and then it was stopped because supposedly FEMA has to come and look at it. Actually, I got together with the FEMA lady last week, and they're still measuring the fence that I fixed and all that stuff. And she mentioned to me that the roof is under building department, not under defense or something like that. So she did mention that they were supposed to call me and come to do the same thing that she did.
Can we have a motion that if it's $6,000, we shouldn't be talking about this, it need to get it done.
I hereby make a motion that if it's less than $10,000 for the manager to move on and take care of it.
Yes.
Agreed.
All those in favor do it?
Aye.
All right, motion carried.
Next.
Yeah, the damage it's doing while we're waiting is, that number just keeps growing.
The last item, which is the more bigger one, that we've been talking about for like 3 or 4 meetings, is the boom mower tractor. It's an emergency right now, so it's up to you guys to buy it or not.
Is that the one that was in the accident?
The boom mower.
Have you looked at what it costs to lease, replace?
By the way, that tractor is not on the car accident, it was with a tree. Now with a tree, with a piece of tree, because we don't have a boom mower. That was the
The one
accident.
that I'm talking about?
Yes,
The
ma'am.
incident that I'm talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
Piece of the tree.
The tree, not the whole tree.
It knows the trees.
To replace it, lease one, do we have any idea?
I gave it to the board like 3 months ago.
Okay.
$150,000.
$150,000.
And to lease?
Can you get just the mower?
That was to buy.
And to lease?
They did not lease
As far as I
it.
know.
Not with the boom mower. They don't.
So you're looking, so we're looking at the boom
Yes,
mower.
sir.
Boom mower tractor, yes.
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay, just a suggestion, because from over the meetings I have been coming, I see that there's a big problem with a lot of information, paperwork, and a lot of stuff getting missed and lost in the air. The secretary, I think she's doing a great job, but I think the payload for her is a little too much, and I think there needs to be another person to assist her. What I'm saying by that is because if the manager, the more job of the manager's job is to manage Montora and oversee it. The supervisor's job is to supervise and make sure policies and rules, which are going to be brought up by the lawyer over time, is what your job is to make sure that he's following policy and procedure. This is coming from Big City. The job that she has key is to making sure that all employees, all meetings, and etc. the list is long for her. I think that if we assist and get another person to assist her with the payload, I think there wouldn't be a lot of paperwork and a lot of stuff being missing. As the lawyer said, that there needs to be a lot of stuff added on to the agenda, which is not added on to the agenda, and I think that falls back under her. There's a lot of other stuff that if we look needle and thin with it, it all falls back down to black and white, and she needs assistance. From looking at it, it seems like all of this can be prevented. A lot of stuff could have never happened if the paper trail was there. It seems like we're missing black and white paperwork, and there's a lot of holes and gaps in it, and I think that's what really needs to be done to solve this problem with policy and procedure being made.
Could I answer you?
Go ahead.
For, I would say, 1.5 to 2 years, Central County has been reconstructed, demolished, brought up, and gone down. Changes that you could not believe. This is the first time I see you at a meeting.
I come to all the meetings, I just don't dress like this.
Okay. Oh, that's why I don't know you.
It's the blending.
It's we're not stable yet, the way it's supposed to be.
Yes, I understand that, and the way to be stable is to have a paper trail. Because if I was coming here with my team of lawyers and saying, hey, I'm going to sue for blah, 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 and you guys have no paper, when we go to court and we're against the judge, it's what I have on evidence and what you guys have. And as a community member now with my family and friends of the community who voice their opinions to me, it seems like we have no paper. So if something big was to happen, let's say a big business comes and buys out a lot of land and says, hey guys, we don't want your community here anymore, we run this. What are we going to do? So as a community member and someone who also lives here, I think it's time that we help her with the payload and get a lot of stuff organized and on paper. So if someone comes and says, hey, I want to sue you guys for what? What are you going to sue us on? And we have all the paperwork. But right now it seems like there's a lot of holes and gaps and stuff's falling through. So that's where majority of the problem is coming at.
Well, I just wanted to tell you the reason why I think we're at that state.
Yes, ma'am.
Too many changes, a lot of changes, hopefully positive Not all of them have been positive, but hopefully positive.
So far,
I don't know if your suggestion is gonna be the solution.
Yeah, I think we need to get organized with new board members, new manager,
And they
get
do it,
everything organized.
you were doing
He
the
understands
office,
what he's supposed to
and
do.
doing the things that you
And
do.
then we look at it, yes. And then we look at it. If it needs to be, it needs to
It
be.
needs to be calmed down and normal before we decide,
Yes.
do we need an assistant for the assistant?
Maybe need a better secretary.
Or a better secretary?
If, I have one more question for Herminio on the culvert project that we have coming up, and also Mr. Bennett.
Well, I meant about the third
Can
thing.
you present to the board the procedures of that project, when it's gonna start, where it's gonna start, the safety equipment that will be used, and also, the MOT plan for those projects as well? So if we could get that in a timely manner, would be awesome.
Can I back up for just a
Go
second?
right ahead.
And then we'll go right back to that.
The mower.
We never did anything, what are we gonna do about the mower? We were talking about a mower and 150 Gs and we stopped.
I think I believe what it was is
We were-
to
are
see
we
if
gonna
we
wait?
could lease it, buy it, or rent it.
Mention it.
Can't you just buy the attachment?
Do what?
Can't you just buy the attachment for the tractor?
And is it, that's what we gotta look at, the tractor's okay, it's just a
What's
mower?
wrong with the boom mower is that the tractor itself.
The tractor part, not the attachment.
No.
And
Well, the attachment has
issues.
Issues.
So what is the cost? I'm pretty sure you got estimates on the
we
tractor.
have an estimate from Kelly Tractor for $147,000.
No, to repair the tractor we have now. Is it repairable?
It was never sent to Kelly Tractor. It's been sent a lot of times.
Okay.
So it's been sent and we don't know, I mean, I think it's a good idea to load it up, send it to them, and let them evaluate it, see what it's gonna cost to fix. We can fix it, run it for a while.
Motor was locked up.
I think
That was a
Kelly
good motor.
did it. I mean, it's down before me. I think Kelly did it. I'm not sure what was the code.
Manager Kelly, you're talking about?
Yes.
Keep making jokes.
I'm not sure what was the code. I can tell you how much they appreciate that tractor for, and it was $12,000.
Can we get someone to look at it, see what it's gonna cost to fix?
Yes,
Then we
sir.
decide to buy another one? Yes, sir.
Don't we have a mechanic? Why are we sending all stuff out of office?
Well, that's,
I mean, we have a mechanic, and we're paying quite a bit of money for it right now, don't we? Why are we sending stuff off?
we need an evaluation.
Yes, sir.
I mean, if our mechanic can't do it, then
Put that on your list. You got a busy, 30 days. Okay.
Herminio, do we have a new mechanic or is it the same one?
The same.
Pedro?
The same.
Wasn't he the garbage picker?
wasn't, yeah.
All right. We're gonna get let's get an idea what it's gonna cost to fix it.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna make some calls, see if we can find one to lease. I'm curious. Someone's got to lease one.
You said no?
Someone has.
They lease them.
Kelly may not, but someone has.
About you?
Oh, yeah.
John Deere sells them used?
No, they lease it for 2 years, but they won't do under a 2-year lease.
So, all right, we'll move on.
All the stuff that was in good shape, you were down here, like, didn't it?
Oh, he was talking about, we were going back to Warren's question about the, I don't remember what he said.
Plan for the woodland there.
Yes, the plan for the woodland.
The Woodland project, we're planning to start it on January the 9th.
They're answering your question.
The goals, yes. The Woodland project.
Which one? The race?
Yeah, no. The Woodland Project, January 9th.
One,
Yes, sir.
you're asking him?
Yes, sir, the Woodland project?
Yes.
The Woodland project, if we can get the procedures on how it's gonna happen, the safety stuff, like for instance, are we gonna require, are we gonna need the water equipment? A lot of things that happen, we have washouts, those type of stuff, so we kind of wanna have everything covered, look it over, so we all know exactly how it's gonna happen, when it's gonna happen.
Who's doing the
deal,
work?
the MOT, all that.
District?
Yes.
I'd like to have, from here going forward, Mr. Bennett, I want to cross my T's, dot my I's, I want everything done the right way. We're going to want to do it one time, the right way.
Correct.
density test, that's a really good point. Like for instance, where we do it usually every foot, usually density test done. We want to make sure that it's done legit and it's going to last for a long time. Because I'd hate to take down the road and do it over again.
That's what we've got planned.
I don't want no bush league stuff going
We
forward.
plan on starting, January the 9th, I think, with, installing the culverts.
Where?
Yes, we do.
Where?
We actually bought the material, the
Which culverts?
paving rock, we bought some lime rock base material
Okay,
to have on hand.
good.
You gave him permission to order the culverts a little while ago. We do have density testing.
Nice. But if we
I
can have that
wonder
plan
where
written
the
down,
culverts
so
are talking
everybody
about. The ones I know
knows
about
exactly
Palm
what's
Street.
going on. There's no guessing or Louis guessing and I'm guessing. Denise wondering what's going on. We know exactly from A to Z exactly what's going on with the whole project. It's coming.
I've waited 7 years to get this far, so hallelujah. We started that project years ago and it kept getting from table to table and people are drowning in that place.
So Chairman, one more thing. As far as the woodland area, I've also rode with Herminio. For some reason, there's a lot of water, and we're in dry season right now, but there's a lot of water coming through that area that we have no idea where, supposedly have no idea where it's coming from. Okay.
I guarantee you.
So we need to investigate what's going on, why it's happening, because I'm wasting fuel here, I'm wasting energy, I'm wasting maintenance. So we need to know what's going on, because we need to send a bill to somebody to use our system. I mean, so be it.
I got a feeling we're the one that put the small down all the way around the area.
There should be no reason water's coming from the woodland area right now.
Remember, the woodland area was separate.
How are you?
It was designed to drain
Again,
that way.
I'm new to the board, so
Yeah.
I'm looking at your maps or something, but there's no reason, there shouldn't be any water just coming from there and nowhere else.
Yes, ma'am.
Woodland connected to Flagpole?
Years ago,
Started talking.
it wasn't part of Ventura, it was part of that area. And it was all set up to drain that way. And then it was brought here, and then, it's been that way for years. It's a low spot. Part of it goes back one way, part of it goes back the other way. And
So here's the problem, as the community already knows, and the people that live in the woodland area. So if there's water coming in now in dry season, right? When there's rainy season, it's getting bombarded, plus wherever that other water's coming from is coming. And again, that's us using fuel, using energy, using power, doing maintenance, overtime, opening certain gates, boards, whatever. So you see what I'm saying? We have to figure out what's the problem over there, and then we need to come up with a solution.
we need to get back there and look at it and see where the water's coming from.
You guys agree?
Yes, ma'am.
My question is, which culvert are they looking at replacing in the woodland areas?
There's like
Mr. Bennett?
It's 12 of them.
Yeah, we're replacing 12 different culverts, various places in the woodlands, increasing the size of some of them.
So just to educate our community is, because the elevations are off, right? They have to be off.
Yeah,
So
we
what
also
we're
do-
doing is we're gonna bring in more volume from that area, but not, because again, the woodland area is lower than this area over here, correct?
Somewhat, yes.
So we're actually, what you said, we'll be bringing more volume of water.
Correct.
Through from that area
Through the
this
culvert
way.
system.
But we also have to stop the water coming into that area.
I don't disagree.
The fact that it's low, it's just gonna draw it like a magnet. So we have to get in there and find where it's coming from. You said that the area was real bad, if we gotta go in there and with I don't know, whatever you have there and just drive through there and open up an area and look. It's coming, I guarantee you're gonna see where it's coming from. Because I know people in Flagler that have the same problem.
We've been
And it's
replacing
all coming from
for
that
years.
area. So
It isn't just,
we have to
there's
build a
so many,
small
it wasn't
dike,
just one time.
whatever it takes. And just go through there and build it. We need to build to keep the water from coming in. Otherwise.
I got a presentation when it's my turn.
Yes, sir. I haven't forgot you, believe me.
That is going to answer
Nice.
your question.
Appreciate that.
Do we,
That's all my question, I'm sorry.
okay, you done?
I'm done.
All right, engineer's report. We kind of covered all yours. Go ahead.
Right, I covered most of it, but I did want to report, kind of the same lines that Mr. Matos. We are just about finished with all the IRMA information that we've had to send to all these months. I haven't talked with our consultant Jennifer in a couple of weeks, but I believe all of the, what they call projects are now completed. They broke every bit of the damage down into various different projects, and we had to provide payroll records, we had to provide all that kind of stuff for them. We've got all that done, so now we need to sit back and wait and see if they've got additional questions or if they'll start sending some checks our way. But that's where we are on the FEMA thing. We've had our dike completed around the reservoir for some time, and the Water Management District wanted us to certify it, and so we've got the as-built information done and as-built drawings done, and we'll be sending that off to South Florida and getting our final certification. And the other thing we've already talked about was the Hacienda and Del Club resurfacing project. And I don't know if Mr. Primero's going to get involved in it, but we just need to set a bid date and a time for the pre-construction, date and time for the pre-construction meeting so we can advertise.
We need to do that now? You wanna do that now?
So I actually put it on the agenda. We haven't even gotten to our agenda. That's why I'm really aching about. We're voting, we haven't even gotten to the agenda yet, which is where you do vote. And spend money and sign contracts, stuff like that. Well, that's all my report.
Okay, well, is that it for the engineer? Treasurer report.
Now let's stand up and say something.
They won't let me, I put my hand up 3 times.
Annual report for November.
Benny's World Town.
We spent $164,000. We transferred $100,000 in the checking account. Shows our total taxes receivable $2,143,000. Of that, $1,548,000 is the current year. On the second page there, it shows the total tax assessed for this period is $1,742,468. Collected $193,000. So we still have $1,548,000 receivable. As far as November's collections, $193,886 was current year taxes. And we collected $22,080 of prior year taxes. So as far as the current year goes, we're $54,500 ahead of last year. And as far as delinquent tax collections, we're about $3,283 ahead of the prior year. I know there's a lot of new board members and stuff in the past, usually they wanted to keep, without going too long on this, so usually after that I ask if there's any questions, but or, we could spend more time going through it.
I do, Mr. Boyd, if you could. We receive, and maybe Herminio and Vicky might be answering, so I just need to be clarified. We do collect cash here, right? Like on keys and vending machines, we do collect cash. Can somebody explain how that process works so I know thoroughly how that works? That, and also what it's used for, or does it just go to the fund?
All the cash from the vending machines, keys, permits, all that is bring to the CPA every week for the bank.
And that's logged in our monthly somewhere, or how do we know?
Yeah.
How do we know when that's happened? When does that happen?
Well, there should be, like other income account on here that shows the miscellaneous receipts like that.
Where would I see it here? On the one you just prepared for us this month?
What page number?
Yeah, I'm looking to see here.
Because here's what I want, if possible, and board, listen to me out. I've been told I've been in Montreux since '05, so I've heard a lot of stories like everybody else. But I've heard if there's any way to steal money, it's that way. Cash. So I'd like to know if that is the case, how we can resolve that so it doesn't happen. There needs to be checks and balances in place. And if there's not, I understand, but let's put some checks and balances going forward,
Yes.
if we can. If
How
you
do we
guys
know
agree
how
with
much
that.
money came out of those machines? How do we
I
know?
think we meant to find it, but page 13 here, on miscellaneous income is where cash has been turned in during the month of November. Culverts, keeping.
So I'm saying, so Mr. Boyd, so understand what I'm saying? Like, for instance, when I'm looking at this is fine. It's the high level, it's like a 10,000 view, right? But when I get down to like the brass tacks, where are the checks and balances with cash money?
You know, they turn in to us each week, you know, this amount of money as far as us, you know, testing cash receipts out here. I mean, that's not what we do.
We got to do
Let me help, maybe, I think what you're suggesting is there a ledger? Okay.
There's
Supposedly there's money missing.
three-part receipt book
Okay.
for every key that's sold. And the key is matched with the permits, so you can follow every key, everything that's been, and everything that's been deposited, given to Mr. Boyd's office for them to make the deposits. Cause that's the only cash that I deal with the culverts, except for with,
As well as covert, sorry, yeah, you
even
mentioned
the
that.
culverts, yes, the permits, and it has the address of each permit on the receipt, which follows.
So if I wanted to do a 2-year, not investigation, what do they call it?
Audit.
Exactly. There would be no questions how it goes.
I can tell you from since I started in June, I can't tell you prior years. I've seen some of them in the other old Culver books
Yeah.
that they did keep it logged that way, along with the res key. Now, what I do is I put the key number next to the receipt that's going out, so you could follow it.
Yes.
And I made copies of any cash that's brought in with the ID of the person attached to that res key, also with the receipt.
Gotcha.
The same thing with the culvert. That's what I do.
Okay, now back to the machine.
Yes.
Cash. That makes sense, so many keys, so much money, but you collect money from the machine, I wouldn't, you got it. Yeah, the machines in the clubhouse.
Right.
How do we know the money that we have is, how do you check it? What do you do, just rake it up and send it to him?
We just collect it from the machine, count it, and we send it to him.
Okay. Who has the invoices for what was purchased that was put in those machines? He has those?
Yes, it's from the Pepsi. From the Pepsi, basically, and the other ones are evident on the Visa.
Okay, so if he has that information, then they can do a little spot check from
Yes,
time
sir.
to time. I guess we have to see what that's gonna, how we're gonna do that and.
Yes, sir.
and, okay, that would be the
And
only
that's
way.
exactly what basically it has to be audited. In other words,
Yes.
you can have Mr. Boyd come in and look at inventory, you know, the can spot revenue and connect the
Right,
dots.
right, that's what I'm.
Since we've been together, huh?
The same thing with the keys, you can say, you have a separate line item for revenue from the soda machines versus the other sources.
It's on the rec budget, all the way on the top. On the rec budget?
So he does do that.
Yes.
Track that, okay, good.
So when that money is deposited, right, so how do we use that money? Or how is it just thrown
This
in the
goes
general
in
fund?
the regular fund. Becomes part of the.
It goes
bank
into
account.
general revenue and it has to go. We don't have, you can't use it for anything else. It must go into the general revenue, that's public funds.
For the Pepsi machine, we don't use any cash, neither for the snack machine. We don't buy anything with cash. All the cash goes to the CPA.
That's not a good idea.
So they send us invoices.
Yes.
So they,
We got
Pepsi and the other.
the Pepsi, I asked them to make a check. It goes straight to the driver. And the snack machine, I always buy with the credit card.
I'm looking at page 7. Road roads and water. Maintenance of roads, 33,000. I'm assuming that is materials.
Yes, ma'am.
Repairs, equipment, vehicles, 6,300. And repairs in the clubhouse pool, 16,000.
The repairs, equipment vehicles, 16,000.
It's
Fuel
upside down?
Fuel is $6,310.91.
Yeah, it says repairs is equipment, vehicles is 16, fuel is 6,300.
That's a lot of money for repairs.
There was a lot of vehicles that needed to be repaired.
Oh, it's more than one or two vehicles?
They was all of them.
All of them?
Yes, ma'am.
Attorney's report, now you can have it.
So the board agenda and the attorney's report are identical. So to save you time, you can just get to the board agenda. Or I can do it now. If I do it now, then we don't have a board agenda.
So be it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's next,
He's gonna be next.
he's next, yeah.
Okay, so, 5 things, real quick. Sale of equipment. At the last meeting, several board members said, hey, if we have equipment out there, it's not operational, it's not useful, let's get rid of it. Let's not have a graveyard out there.
Yes, sir.
So I told you I'd look at to see legally whether we have to go through any formal process. Bottom line is, we don't. We, the board can come up with any kind of process, because it's selling public assets, you have to have a process where you have a public notice, so that if anybody wants to come and bid on it, you can post it on our website, you can post it in the office, but you just have to go through a process where the public is notified if you're selling equipment A, B, and C. You put the information out there, you can take the highest bid, you can donate it, the statute allows us to donate it to a not-for-profit or another governmental entity, or sell it. You have wide discretion if you want to start identifying equipment that's no longer useful or needed, so it can be sold, or even for scrap purposes, depending on what it is. Next item, so the request for proposal, now that's going to require a vote. An RFP was prepared by the district engineer. I reviewed it. I had one comment having to do with the road elevations, which you addressed. So it's good to go. I would recommend that the board get the ball rolling on this project. This is the resurfacing for the 2 roads.
When do you need that?
Pardon me?
When do you need that?
Well, to get it out on the street.
So here's my problem though. I asked for this I just got it today. Nobody on the board had a chance to really look at it to see if it's, we just got it today. Can we do give them some week time to really look it over and then have a conference call or a meeting or something?
Absolutely.
Just so we can look at it, we just got it today.
Sure. No, and especially having you have a careful would be worthwhile. So we will do that. Okay.
So we'll get back
Table it.
with you and, I don't wanna wait 30 days.
No, I want the project to go, but give us at least a week's time to really look it over, Mr. Bennett. Just wanna make sure that we don't, I don't like change orders. I just wanna make sure I got it all crossed, because a change order costs us a lot more money. I don't know if everybody knows, but most of the time, there's usually 10 to 20%, sometimes 10 to 15% change orders on every project. So whatever the value of this project is, you can probably add 10 to 15% easily. When stuff is not crossed, we have everything. Unfortunately, I experienced it as well.
So you can take the vote over the phone, or shall we vote now?
I would recommend you vote now, subject to.
Subject to, right.
Right.
So once you get a call for everybody's happy with it, then we'll go with it.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we need a motion.
This is the RFP for the 2 resurfacing projects.
Yes.
Needs a motion.
So
I hereby move, you know, have you noticed that I always have to make a motion? Okay, I hereby make the motion that we go forward with the repair then based on the contingency of Supervisor Martin.
No, all of it. Everyone read it, call him and tell him it's good to go, and it's good to go. Okay.
So just any objection or comment from the board?
Okay, second, all those in favor? Motion carried.
The sign must be running down.
Next item, we're gonna have to pass on, and that is the statute requires us to have a bond for the treasurer. The treasurer be bonded. And the treasurer and I had a conference call earlier today. What our insurance broker, the package she gave us was the wrong package, not the right insurance policy. So we're gonna have to defer that to the next meeting. It's a statutory requirement. We received an audit comment for our annual audit that policy wasn't in place. There was an audit comment from about 2 years ago.
2 years ago when Cookie was here.
Right, and so we're getting it done.
Okay.
The next item is I received a call from the manager about a landowner on 393 Perimeter Road.
Right.
And you wanna talk about what's going on with that?
Well, that issue was actually resolved. They picked up all the cars. We went there with the code enforcement and the police. And we fixed the road. The road is still there. There's nothing wrong with it. They haven't touched it. They picked up everything that was outside, so it's done.
So, I just went down there the other day because I got a call.
Okay.
That road is messed up again, I believe, and also our street sign is down.
The bus sign.
Has it always been down, or is that something new?
No, we fixed it about a week ago.
I just went over it about 2 days ago, and it was laying flat down. Is that because of the landowner, because we have the sheriff here? Is that the landowners doing it, or is that somebody doing it in the community?
We don't know. It's the entire Montura actually with the
AJ,
sign.
can you check into that for me, so we don't have this continued issue straightened up and knocking down signs?
No, but it's not only that one. If you wanna talk about signs, we did a lot of signs. Right? Plenty signs. I'm talking about like 100 signs.
I saw your bill for signs.
Yeah, and next week was the long weekend for Thanksgiving.
Right.
And next Monday, we already fixed like 40-something more signs. So it's signs is all over. They've been painting them. They've been pulling them out with cars or with something. They run over them. It's every day. Signs are every day. It's every day. Yeah. So as far as if it's the, I'm sorry, Mr. Rudy. If it's the landowner or not, we don't know.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, you know, when we went there with the police,
Yes, sir.
that was the answer. It said, well, if you guys don't have a video of them tearing up the road, there's nothing we can do. So.
Yes, sir.
On the subject, we have a lot of people coming in writing. We have the permits with the key that we give the landowners, and we have the little stickers that we put in there. Why don't this board makes it mandatory that any vehicle in Montura that is used for recreation will need to have that sticker placed in it? So when the 20, 50 Yahoos, they come in riding, and without a permit, then the sheriff department can say, where's your permit? Oh, I don't have one, come here, son.
Do we do stickers
I
still?
don't think y'all can do that, can you?
Yes, we can.
We've
Well,
done that.
hold on now.
It's illegal down the road anyways.
We have to sign, we had paper signed years ago that gave them the right to enforce laws on this property. because it's private property. Without that paper, they said they
What that,
couldn't.
what that is, what it is
Okay.
it's the agreement, a representative
Yes.
agreement. Now, y'all are saying every ATV and OTV, UTV that's out here, y'all want them to have a permit on it, okay? That is
We have stickers already that we issue them.
That's only if they go into the reservoir.
I'm saying I want to include it in the whole Montura area.
No.
Okay, now let me ask you this, cause he's absolutely right, cause this isn't a, rider entitled area. You have to go through the state of Florida, for the state of Florida to deem. They're allowed to ride OTVs and ATVs here, they have to be registered and permitted. If y'all do that, by all means, absolutely. But until that happens, no. Now, getting into the reservoir, if they don't have their permit, their pass, I'll turn them away all day long, you know? And an hour later, they'll drive by to see if I'm there. So, and.
Okay, so what would it take, what would it take,
Hold on, I'm going over here.
All right.
what would it take for this board, besides making a motion or a resolution, to have in a property of anybody that rides an ATV,
They're worrying about a problem that has nothing to do with the sheriff department's problem.
that he can ride it, of course, but
Which is exactly what he just said.
Exactly.
yahoos from coming over and creating most of the problems that we have.
So like with almost any program, there's two parts. You have a rule, and then you police the rule. So in the reservoir, we have a landowners agreement with the sheriff. We actually re-upped less than a year ago. We own the land, so it's proprietary. We can dictate whether you have to wear a red hat, you know, on a Sunday. That's your rule. However, on these streets, you cannot regulate vehicles. The county could. You could approach the county and ask them to work with Central County. But we can adopt the rule, we can't enforce rules on vehicular traffic. That's not in our statutory area authority. You can work with the county to do that. You know, like code enforcement is a great example. The trash pickup, we have to work with the county. Yeah, no, that's it, we need the police authority, the county, we don't have.
The agreement is there still the agreement so they enforce traffic laws? We had to sign, so I'm talking about down the road, you can't drive a four-wheeler on the road.
Yeah, that's a state law, we can't enforce it.
I thought we had to sign it, I signed an agreement years ago, they said they couldn't enforce it, because these are private roads unless we sign that agreement. So I just want to make sure.
I know nothing about it, that was before my time, so that I have no idea.
Yeah, the
only agreement that I know is.
So what you're saying is,
Right.
so what you're saying is the roadways within the Montura Ranch area are all privately owned?
We signed, yes,
Which
they're
means,
owned by Central County.
So to take it a step further,
Publicly owned.
I'll just throw four-wheelers as a grand subject, because we work a lot with that. If you guys can come up with some way for us to be able to do it, we're all for it. Four-wheelers are something I can't chase four-wheeler. Cannot chase four-wheeler. Because if I chase four-wheeler to find out who it is, and I hit that four-wheeler, I will no longer be a sheriff's deputy. I'll be on the other end of the bars.
Yeah.
So we don't chase four-wheelers. We have other ways that we try to approach it. We try to let them, give them some slack. We give him some slack. He's got a four-wheeler. You'll see where they go back to, if they have a camp, a house they go to, and then we get them there. We do that regardless. So when you guys call us for four-wheelers, oh, we got four-wheelers going up and down the road. We come, if it's not him, and it's not me, it's very hard for a road deputy to chase a four-wheeler down. So we do our due diligence to work those subjects when we can. Is it gonna be a permanent solution? I doubt it, because you got your guys that come from Miami, they go into the Pioneer area, they come here to the Montura area, and they go out. They go out to the blocks. We had
600.
Yeah, we had literally, I'm not even kidding, a couple hundred four-wheelers, and we had 3 deputies rolled out. And we were like, "Get out of here!" And they were like, "Yeah, about that."
That's why we locked up that reservoir, because all that traffic was here at one time. And caused us a lot of problems.
So we work on it, and that's something we do. You guys don't even have to vote on it. Like it's just something we do. We do it for the citizens of Hendry County.
Yes, sir.
then why don't this board makes a resolution to help
Oh my gosh.
the deputies
Bigger issue.
with any four-wheeler or any recreational vehicle that is used in our common area needs to have that sticker attached to it.
You can't do that.
I just told you that. No, we cannot. I know what he said. We cannot enforce the law.
In the reservoir, you can't.
So you're voting for something that's meaningless.
Every
Are you talking about making
Quiero
a sticker
cerebro,
with our
este tipo lo que le
registration
dieron
number?
fueron
So
aquí.
we know if we come in contact? Okay, so they got a number.
Are you saying putting like HOA, putting up a rule like something like that and saying, hey, if you reside in this area and you're gonna operate one of these, then it needs to be registered through our office, through HOA rules and everything like that? Is that something similar?
Yes, that's what I'm getting at.
to have the sticker placed on the vehicle. This would prevent, you can see a sticker and you would say, yeah, that's a local resident.
You just said you can't chase them.
Now, what
Doesn't matter.
happens if they don't have a sticker?
I'm sorry?
What happens if they don't have a sticker? What happens
Well,
to them?
then, that's why this resolution would make it illegal.
Well, that's my point about, you can have all the rules you want, you gotta enforce and police the rules. You don't have
What are you
the
gonna do, take them to jail?
authority to do it on public roads.
You can tell them to do it, if they don't do it, you can't do anything about it, so what's the point of telling them
You
to do
can't
it?
find, we don't have finding authority,
And y'all
we
certainly
don't
can't,
have
because we
civil or
decide.
criminal penalty authority.
What is the difference between the reservoir and those canal roads?
The difference is that reservoir is not a road, it's owned by Johnson County. This board could put a lock on it if it wants. End of story. Nobody uses it. You decide when it's used, how it's used, and if it's used.
Correct.
We had a workshop 8 months ago. I wasn't here, but you had a workshop on the reservoir. I don't know.
Topic in this area. You wanna fill this out? Say something about the reservoir, no? It's a fact.
There was talk about developing some stricter rules. We had a workshop and that thing ended.
Volunteers.
We had South Florida on us years ago. They was talking of having to close that thing down because of the wetlands. So
That's another
I'm
issue.
surprised that we're still using it, and I'm happy that
That
we can.
shoe's gonna fall one day.
Of course it is.
Because they are, I mean, if you just look at, I've looked at Google Earth.
Yes.
Holy moly, I mean, it's scarred,
Yes.
pretty bad.
Well, they've already got on us about it many years ago. They were after us about it. And wetlands, and they wanted, I don't know where I wound up, they wanted us to tape off certain areas, and even wanted, I mean, it was a big deal, so it kind of just went away, but anyway.
The best places to take a vehicle is in the wetlands where you got the muddy.
Yeah, that's the whole idea, but that's not a good thing. All right, well, so we're done with that, or?
One last item.
Yes, sir.
This is a very exciting one. This is about a new, we're finishing up our annual audit, and the auditor, the company, contacted me, and I think he called you too. Sent a letter basically saying we have to do what's called an actuarial study. It's a new requirement for the general accounting standards, and maybe you wanna.
You have to do an actuarial evaluation of other post-employment benefits, which have to do with the Florida retirement system. So if you're in the Florida retirement system, now you have to have an actuarial. We had an actuarial report done like 3 years ago. Those people are recommended by other people also. So we got a proposal from them. We'll do the actuarial report. This year it'd be $2,700.
Is that the report where we don't even have one employee on that?
That's the thing, because we're in the Florida retirement system, we're required to have this for the first time.
Have employees on the code of return.
So basically, we have a proposal. There are not a lot of people who do this kind of work, so we recommend this.
$4,700 this year,
Not the first one on the list.
$1,900 per year after that.
We have to have, we have to have it,
So I'd like to recommend that the board, what's the name of the company?
Foster and Foster.
Okay, we have a contract from Foster and Foster for $2,700 to do a required actuarial study as part of our annual audit process. It'll be less and less as each year progresses. It's more this year because it's the first year. And it is required by statute.
So we have a motion. You're the man. We have a second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Yeah, we don't have a choice.
I've got one other thing.
Yes, sir.
In your packet of stuff, there's a contract of ours. It's not in.
We think about it. We'll think about it. The renewal of the contract.
Right. We've been doing this work out here for 19 years at the same price. It covers all of our bookkeeping, our writing checks, and all of my treasurer stuff and everything else. And it's been at $1,500 for at least 19 years since we got it from John Perry. So we're proposing an increase from $1,500 a month to $2,000, which is spread out over 19 years. That's like 1.7% a year. The contract is the same as what we had before, except for that. It provides basically that either party can cancel it with 60 days notice. And then if you look back at page 4 and 5, where it sort of shows everything that we do. So anyway, that fee covers everything except some of the special things, like we work with the auditor and they have us do a lot of stuff in the budget and things like that. We just charge extra for all the stuff that's enumerated in here, including all of my time here. It would be that rate.
Isn't it,
Go ahead, sorry.
I'm sorry,
You go ahead.
are we allowed to give him that raise because of the, we're supposed to be on the same same yearly amount as last year because of the voting that we did at the end? It was 50-50? The budget?
Yeah, so you, if this results in an increase in the amount of money that's already budgeted, you have to do a budget amendment. Which you can do. I mean, you can do, you typically will do dozens of budget amendments through the course
I
of
thought
the
that you
year.
could not change it.
You can't change the total appropriations for the whole, that $2 million total budget. You can't go above that without, re-going through the process of advertising and having meetings and all that. But you can always make line item changes in the budget. I think ours is probably close to that.
I can't believe it, you have the same salary 20
I don't see numbers here. Where are
It's
the
in the
numbers?
back, like I say, back page
Come
5.
down something else as far as tracking.
Page 4 starts enumerating all the things that we do, which is a lot. We do a lot of things every week, a lot of things every month, quarterly and annually, plus some meetings. But the dollar amount on page 5.
The fine print.
Well, I mean, we enumerate all that we do, and then we say our fees for the normal monthly services would be $2,000 a month. It's been $1,500 a month for 19 years.
Except for that fee, is this contract identical to the prior contract?
Yes. The only thing that changed was just the fee. It really should have been raised.
I see this two ways. I know that everything has gone up.
Yes.
Okay? And we can approve this, or we can request bids to see if any other company is willing to do it for cheaper. Now, after so many years dealing with this firm, with happy results, I hereby move that we accept the contract and the increase of the $500.
Do we have a second? No second?
Mr. Can I say something? Mr. Boyle, when you put your bid in, we just, the fiscal year just started October 1st like everybody else. If you knew you needed this, why didn't you add it why didn't you do it then? To the budget, so we can approve it then. Because that's where I have a problem, because I think you've been dealing with this for 19 years, so you've been dealing with this for a while. I think the better time to approach us, the board with something like that is, when the budget comes out.
Well, there is, I think we did budget,
I'm not against you making what you need to, but I think you should have presented it when the budget was approved in October, so we know now if we're having to make an addendum or add something. I think it would have been a lot better then. Same way with the attorney's fees, same way with Mr. Bennett's fees.
it's actually gonna be under budget. Right now, there's a budget of $30,000 for accounting.
Yes, sir.
That's right. So that's gonna be less than 2,000 pounds. Well, it's gonna be a little bit. Well,
You got a motion on the floor?
I have a motion on the floor. I'm personally happy with their service. Every time I've been down there to the office, I get answer my questions and they treat you with respect and whatever. Everything has gone up.
just think about how much this area has grown in the last 9 years, and that makes our more transactions, more meetings.
So my motion is we accept the claim.
I second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye. I have a question for you, Mr. Moore.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that I'm gonna be picking on you, but I really am not.
Okay.
I would say 11 months, when I became chair. That month, I received from Mr. Fumero 2 names of accounting, insurance company agents that dealt only with water districts. One was a woman and one was a man. I immediately sent those memos, that letter, that introducing themselves and all that. After looking at it for a week, I sent it out. Vanda was here. After Vanda left, she's the only one that's been here after Vanda, right? Officially?
No.
Who was it?
It was, I was alone for a month. Then,
No, I don't mean a month.
And then Brenda came. Brenda was there for I think 2 months.
Okay, I gave it to Brenda
And then Becky.
and then Becky. I have emailed, I have the emails. I have emailed everybody that's been in charge of getting the numbers for the trucks, the equipment, getting the letters from these 2 firms and everything, so that by November, and my email said, please do this immediately, so by November we have 3 bids. Mr. Perry's bid, that he's been doing it for 20-something years, and these 2 new people. Was that done? Because I looked at the film today, the video, the CD, and you said on that CD that you were able to save $4,000.
That's how much the price went down.
Went down.
Even though
Okay.
they added the off the board.
But again, we went to the same company that we've been dealing with for 20 years. Right? Was that done? Did you ever get to see those 2 other firms, the word from those 2 other firms that they were ready to give to you?
No, I did not.
I could show you the emails that I sent out. I don't know. But I thought that as a a chair. It was my job that if you sent it to me, your office sent it to me, we will have 3 people to look at. And I kept writing down November. This must be done by November. We have to get our act together because $4,000 maybe could have been 10.
Why, what was the reason why you did not follow up on that? I was not aware of it till now.
He never got it.
I'm not aware of it, getting that. I know we bid out the health insurance, but not the property casualty part.
So what would it take to get that done?
But we can, if you give me their names again, we could get them to look at it.
It's in the computer, but Becky must have it because I'm sure I sent her a letter too.
You remember when I brought up the check issue, who gave us the best interest? We planning to switch banks after a lot of effort on my part. I'm not happy personally that what she said is accurate. So.
You don't think it's accurate?
Yeah, a week later.
What I said?
I'm not happy.
What's the water?
What you stated.
I'm not happy either. I look at it in the
So the paper's made, let's push on and try to resubmit it. And correct it. That's all we can do.
You can't because you gotta wait till next November, right? To get the real good deal. We just signed it last month, November.
No.
And the insurance.
So there's two, so
You get a better policy, you
I'm
cancel.
not
it.
an insurance guy, but I do know November is for health insurance, that's your enrollment period. If you're talking about auto insurance, you can do that anytime.
They asked for the trucks that we had and the equipment we had and everything.
You can do auto insurance anytime.
It was the whole thing. It was a pack.
Yeah, all right, look, I think it's a good idea.
Let's send it to him and let's resubmit it. Cause all you gotta do is cancel, they're gonna prorate the time you had it and go
But
again.
that paperwork has to be done by the office. And then we send to
It's done.
It's done?
Yes, ma'am. The update of everything we have,
For the
prices,
insurance?
everything, yes, ma'am.
Well, remember, there were
And that
two
was never given
things.
to him?
Yes.
November?
That went to the John Ferry deal, and they adjusted the fixed asset part, it just packaged it.
Remember, we were discovering that, again, like you said, this place has been reinvented in the last year. We had insurance policies for vehicles or equipment that didn't exist, because had been sold or, so one part was just having an inventory of what we have, and then matching it to our insurance policy. That's all we did. Now you're saying,
It was
see
the
if
whole
we can
deal
get more
according to them.
competitive.
Very comprehensive.
So we resubmit it.
So you think we can get this in the next 30 days, Mr. Voigt?
I could submit the information for you, but I don't know how to get back to us. It's kind of specialized, but I'll
There's a
get.
lot of paperwork you should do. But I'm only paying you, asking a particular question.
My turn now.
The clubhouse report's already done, right? What? Okay, hold it, yeah, let's finish one thing. Okay, so we're gonna get you the information and you're gonna try to look at it? Is that what we agreed on, or?
No,
Just see where we are.
I'll submit it to
Okay.
those two companies.
Okay, just see where we are. If it's gone, it's gone. If it's not, it's not. We'll push on. Okay. With that being said, the clubhouse report's already done, right?
I covered most of them, but she has some other.
Oh, okay, go ahead, she's next.
So as far as the clubhouse, we're currently paying the
Yes.
facility. We're gonna start working on the guardrail, project that we were quoted on for. We've also cleaned out like a bunch of the rooms out and moved boxes from on top of the restrooms and moved them into storage. Overall, the clubhouse is moving forward, like upgrading wise and getting new things in. Also, we have a basketball tournament on 13th, and there's also going to be a crime prevention, meeting on January 17th.
Question on the clubhouse. Appreciate your report. Since I lived in Montour, my wife has been here for a lot longer. She was raised in this area.
I have not seen upgrades done to that clubhouse. The inside, if you guys take a look at it, the inside needs a lot of help, the furniture needs a lot of help. There's budget that they send back into our budget every year. So it cannot continue to look that way. It needs to be overhauled. You ever seen this old house? It needs some love. It needs some TLC. It's been neglected too long, and they have a budget. So I just asked the board if we would put some priorities on what we need to do this fiscal year, next fiscal year, and so on and so forth to get it. Everybody was there for the election on this board. I don't know about you, but I went through every piece of clothes sweating.
Well, the board voted no air conditioning.
Well, again, that's a
And
new
they
board.
also
now.
voted no generator.
That's a new
What
board.
is the air conditioning cost? You got a price on AC?
I will make a presentation to proceed.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I forgot. What is the, do you have a price for putting AC in there?
I do have it, it's on my old email, but I can go
Can you
back.
send it to me, please? Is there, meanwhile, you're talking about furniture though, is there some money available for replacing some of that stuff?
It
Now?
depends. The clubhouse budget is always being really short. It's about 1/3 of the entire budget.
What is 1/3? Come out to.
The entire budget is about 2.6. The clubhouse budget is 270,000.
That's not 1/3.
How many employees you got?
Huh?
How many employees you got?
3, and then during the summertime is lifeguards, and it used to be the summer camp. It's not anymore.
So you have money to replace some of the old furniture and some of the stuff that's getting raggedy?
We do. We just gotta be careful. If we're gonna keep going with the playground and all that stuff, we have to be very careful so we don't go over.
We gotta upgrade or get rid of it. I mean, we can't just.
Oh.
But here's the problem. Here's the problem, Emilio.
Yes.
Nothing has been spent there.
I understand, and we asked for it, and Louis Napoli was denied for $5,000 to replace all the sofas.
Well, I'm pushing for it because those sofas been here probably 20 years.
More.
Do we have a motion on the floor?
Let's finish repairing the outside.
Hold on, put your motion in. You're the motion man. Put the motion in to get this stuff repaired.
No, the sofas will be repaired.
Oh, they're going to?
Yeah.
Make sure you put that on the meeting notes, Becky. I like that.
What about replay? Yeah, thank you.
Put them on the meeting notes, please.
Okay. All right, so with all that being said, we're done with the clubhouse now?
Use the money.
Use the money, spend it, yeah, it's not, we're not in the savings business. Board of Supervisors report. That's you, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
I got some real good news.
Thank you.
Let me start by saying that I think most of you guys know that I'm very involved in emergency management with communications here and there and search and rescue and all that. So I went to the Henry County official meeting, and I was speaking as a resident, but people knew that I was part of this board.
There's no message I want to give them.
And
Search something down
we
here.
were on the list here on category 2, level 2 of priority. I lobbied and we changed that priority to level 1. So we are now level 1 when it comes to federal assistance and Henry County. Huh?
What does it mean, level 1?
Priority number 1.
Okay.
Priority number 1.
Thank you.
My presentation included what happened here during the storm. I was speaking, like I say, in behalf of myself and the community as a resident. Now, the good news is we can have a shelter built in Motura. then we need a land, we need a piece of land to build a shelter. And that shelter can serve more than a shelter. We can use it as a community building and an assistance program. If the Red Cross wants to come in, the Salvation Army wants to come in, whatever, we'll use it as well. I spoke about the water levels, and they're willing to, they approve 2 pumps, 2 additional pumps. And I told them about the generator in the clubhouse, and they're willing to come up with a generator. Okay, now, when I say they're willing, they're gonna back us up on the request with the federal government.
FEMA again?
Federal. No, there's 500-something thousand $1 million.
Grant money.
Okay? Grant money.
Yes, sir.
In 2 categories. One, we cover 25%,
Yes.
or the other one is completely free. What it needs to take effect now is for this board to say, yes, we can give out the piece of land. I was figuring the one over there by 833, which is close to emergency service and stuff like that. Now, if we build a shelter with an overhang and a bathroom available, the emergency management of the hospital, rescue, and even willing to have a vehicle parked there.
How can you have a shelter with 1 bathroom?
I'm saying in the outside.
Outside of the shelter.
Outside the shelter. I think this is a great opportunity, and I make a motion because the engineer and the architect, Mr. Bennett sent a representative. To get going on this, we need a request, okay? A grant request, and emergency management is willing to work with Mr. Bennett directly and our attorney directly.
What property is this being?
I need an approval to have our engineer, Mr. Attorney here, and the manager to start creating the paperwork.
I have a comment.
I have a question as well, brother.
I have a question for the manager.
Okay. Federal money, you said it was, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you know, I was told this, it could be a lie. 2 years ago, I was told by Mr. Swindle that the county is planning on making a shelter right next to the fire station. They took those 2 lots and they have separated them, two lots, so that the building could go there.
Surprise.
That was a year and a half ago to 2 years ago. He showed me,
I'm talking what is in black and white.
well, then I think before we do that, we should, if I'm telling you this, I'm not saying drop your idea. I'm saying, are you aware that the county had taken 2 lots and reserved it for Central County to have a shelter, that they were gonna build a shelter? And then they were gonna make it a community also building. It might take as long as your project takes. They're not gonna do that tomorrow, I'm sure. It's a government agency, is not gonna do that immediately.
They can work together.
You're starting the paperwork, so we have time to go back to the county, don't tell them about this, go back to the county and say, well, where are we up to with the building that you were gonna build for us?
I was not aware. If I knew what you were saying 2 years ago, I would have never
A
spent
year
time
and
on
a
it.
half ago, I would say it was when.
Why you didn't brought it up to our attention?
Anyway, moving on.
Maybe I did, I don't know, I will have to look at all the videos I have at home to see if I said it and nobody listened.
After it's, one quick question, after it's, I know Mr. Swindle personally, after it was built, after it's built and we spent government funding to have it erected, what is our responsibility after that? Do we have to put budget aside to take care of it?
Well, the maintenance of the building.
Yes, sir.
And cutting of the grass.
Yes, sir.
And whatever you would have to.
And repairs?
Yeah.
How big is this
And,
building?
and I'm glad you said that, so we can take care of, we haven't taken care of our landmark here that's been here 20 to 40 years. I'm not laughing, I'm being honest. We have something that, we have something here that we haven't
I
taken.
think it's a great idea to have all this, but if the rest of the board don't want it, I hear.
No,
Let's discuss it.
No.
Let me ask you something. Time out. Let me ask you something. John, do we have the, can we even do that? Remember, we talked about what our powers are and what we can do and what we can't. Can we even do that?
I mean, so, I actually was involved in one of these projects, so if, it looks like this is Hendry County put this list together, so if they're looking for us to, if we can contribute land, they build a building. The other district I was involved with, we actually, that building became their community center. It's a hardened building, that's all it is. It's a hardened building, it can withstand hurricane force winds, I think it's 180 miles an hour.
Cat 5, Cat 4,
It's,
Cat
you know,
5.
set at 100-year plus.
100-year plan.
So, I can't tell that from this, it's just a list of $103 million worth of projects.
We can give
But
the
if we
property,
could,
but we can't be involved. We have that authority. So that's part of our.
if we could offer property because it's another governmental entity and they build the building on it, we could do it. If that's what's being proposed, I don't know.
Well, he's talking about maintenance and everything else, and I was curious, are we allowed to even be in the middle of that?
Yes, to be
Yeah, we could, because it would, that, there's properly, that facility would be a recreation area. Yeah, it'd be a community, so it would fall within our authority. If that's what's being proposed. It just says Central County. Is this for a building?
That's the application money of what Henry County decides.
You could kill two birds with one stone. If they allocate $750,000 to us, we could go harden the rec center.
Right.
I mean, if that's what this is about, I don't know. I haven't seen it before.
And
but
for
if
how
this-
many people? How big is it for how many people?
Yeah, we have to ask. but-
Did they give you that information, Bruce?
In other words, what are the strings
No,
attached
nobody's
to
not talking because nobody likes that.
There's no strings attached besides we have to give them the land. Okay? This is the grant money that it will be worked with the architect and the engineer that they would have to supply, okay, how big the building is gonna be, how many residents we have here. The problem was, if you recall INMA, the problems we have with the shelter, some people had to go to LaBelle, some people had to go to Clewiston, and then some people didn't want to take animals, somebody didn't want to have a cat, and it was a chaos.
Right.
If we establish our own shelter and emergency services for our community, we don't have to rely on Henry County, but,
But if Henry County builds it, don't they have to take care of it instead of us?
no.
No?
Once,
They just,
from what I understand, I'm not an expert in this. Once they build the building, it will be turned over to Central County.
Exactly.
And Central County would have to have the maintenance done, you know, cutting the grass, paying the electric bill and all that. The only thing is, they will give us the grant money to do it.
why don't we, sit on this? Or is there a deadline? Is there a deadline?
You have my approval, Louis. I just want I want the board to understand and this community that's here to understand, we haven't taken care of what we have now. So I'm for it because I believe we have.
So you're willing to give away, okay, this opportunity of having a generator for the clubhouse that it would even handle an air conditioning. You're willing to give up 2 pumps,
Yeah, air conditioning too.
okay? You're willing to give up 2 pumps, and you're willing to give up building because we haven't taken care of stuff in the past. Listen, I rest my case,
No, so when do you plan to take care of this?
Hey, one question.
Is that what that's on or
May I make a recommendation? I can make,
Upgrade the
I have a
clubhouse.
relationship with the
Okay,
county attorney, I
shelter.
can call him and
That'd be the
get
best way.
the information, because, you know, this, for example, this building, keep in mind, this is a request for an appropriation. This is years away from even being approved, let alone built. This is $103 million. This is- You gotta go, you gotta, the process is measured in years to get the money, not even to build, just, this is way off, so I think it's, so anyways, one of the, special districts used this money to build their office, and it doubled, it was a hardened facility, so it doubled as a, emergency shelter for residents. And, this was Lake Worth Drainage District, so they had staff operating
Put that money into a
water control
facility that's
structures
already
during
in clubhouse.
hurricanes, so it, you know, it was a twofer that worked out well. I say, let's dig a little deeper.
Yes.
And I can report back to you, I'll work with Louis and bring something back to you with some more information.
Sounds good.
And speak also to Mr. Swindle and ask him if that's still the plan from the county.
Well, this is the county.
So then that must, that is the county, so that might even be the plan that he told me about.
Okay. All right, well, then you're gonna get the report back to us on it.
Got it.
All right, anything else? Good. Yeah, we need a motion to adjourn. No, I can make a motion, to be adjourned. Meeting adjourned.
Any seconds?
Yeah, we got a second?
Yeah, you gotta vote on it.
Everybody wants to stay?
Gotta vote on it.
Yeah, we need a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
How are you now?
Yes, how you been?
Ain't doing much of nothing. Like he's gonna be careful of that rock on the fire.
We haven't shown the committee that we can take care of.
I'm gonna show you my phone where I asked for something to my face. Go sit down.
A little bit more on point.
That's all right. That's what we're looking for.